Welcome, friends. Today, we are starting another first impression series. Marvellous. That is right, friends. I am back. I am back once again. And this time I have a new first impression series for you. How exciting. And the house I will be starting my first impression series on is the house of Matiere Premiere from the perfumer Aurélien Guichard. So, I acquired this sample set from David at the Fragrance Bros. I was the first person to comment on one of his streams, as I am wont to do. And he said, "Rich Mitch, congratulations, you have won this sample set," after he had finished with it. So, thank you very much, David. I appreciate it greatly. And he sent it over to me at great expense to himself. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. So, Matiere Premiere is owned by Aurélien Guichard. Aurélien Guichard is a famous perfumer who works at Takasago. He has made many famous fragrances for places like Bond No. 9. He has made perfumes for Ferragamo, Izumiyaki. He made Ferragamo Uomo, which is quite nice. He trained at Givaudan, and he is the son of another famous Guichard whose name escapes me. Having perfume run in the family, he took over his family's business in Grasse, or the south of France, growing roses and jasmine. He is obviously steeped in the history and the culture of perfume. So it's interesting to see that, I think. I mean, because a lot of it happens. You've got the Polges, you've got the Roberts, you've got the Rudnitskas. All these, there is often the best way to get into perfumery and professional perfumery is to be part of the family, you know. And he certainly is that. An accomplished perfumer. I just wanted to flesh out his background because this is somebody who knows his perfume, you know. And I think that's important to say before we start. He started this brand in 2019. They're all his own creations, obviously, and you would think that he's the creative director as well. So these are the perfumes that he wanted to make. He wanted to put out there. I don't know what his motivation was. I don't see, you know, I don't know what the whole thing is. I have my suspicions about what the motivation behind the brand was, but let's see. Let's put it like this. A lot of brands, niche brands, have been bought up recently by private equity firms. And it seems to be, or larger umbrella corporations, and it seems to be the way a lot of perfumers are going. Anyhow, the sample set is actually extremely cool. These are 5.6, they're 0.20 fluid ounce samples, so that's 5.6 mil. So they're good size samples. You can really get a hold of the perfumes to see what they're like. And here is the sample set. Now, as you can see, these are different looking samples. These have the sprayer screwed on. I prepared them earlier. These do not have the sprayer screwed on. The sprayers actually come in a little notch behind the bottles, and if they want to pop out anytime, there you go. So you screw them in and you screw them off when you're not using them, you know. The three we will be trying in today's video are Falcon Leather, Santal Austral, and the Bois d'Ebene. So, I'll put these to one side. And we shall begin, shall we? Okay, first off, again, full disclosure. I have smelled a few of these before. Me and Eugene got samples and we did a live stream about this last year. And to say we were less than impressed is a bit of an understatement. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. And I was less than impressed. I think I smelled Falcon Leather, Santal Austral, and the Radical Rose. But it has been a large amount of time since that passed, and perhaps my mind has changed. So, we will start, as always, at the beginning with Falcon Leather, my friends. Let's see what Falcon Leather has to offer. Good sprayers on these. Better sprayers than a lot of perfume bottles, to be honest with you. Oh, wow. So I'm just going to give that a minute. Okay. This was a really big fragrance that got pushed by a lot of influencers at the time of release. A lot of people got free bottles, and a lot of people said that this one was their favourite. The top notes are saffron and labdanum. Middle note is birch tar, and the base notes are benzoin and agar wood. Oud. Oh. Dry, woody ambers. You can sum this fragrance up in 3 words. Dry, woody ambers. IBQ. What smells like IBQ? Like a leather note. This kind of dark, massive, no limbinol type oud. Black wood. I mean, one of the next ones is called Bois d'Ebene, so I don't know if it'll step on its toes, but birchy, dark, angry, quite black. Apparently this was based on the gloves of a falconer. You know, people who play with falcons. Smoky. Huge, massive, like ambery. It feels like a few materials. You know, it feels like it doesn't feel very intricate. It doesn't feel very It certainly doesn't feel like anything new or innovative, you know? It's got something a little bit boozy in it, which I'm not sure what that could be. A little something lurking that is sweet. It could be the benzoin, that. I get that saffron, that really familiar saffron that's been doing the rounds for a few years in the oud rose, you know, the saffron oud rose combo thing. It's not quite as bad as as I remember it being, you know. It's rounder, it's a little bit smoother, but just lurking in the back, I can smell waiting to take over in about 45 minutes, an hour, this huge, dark, smoky, woody amber. You know? That is what is gonna, that is, I just know that is what I'm gonna get. Oh, that is absolutely grim. That is really, it's really familiar. You know, it smells like an oud rose saffron. It's even got some sort of like sweetness in it that reminds of Tuscan leather. You know, there is a Tuscan leather-esque thing going on there. It's not as ashy. It's like Tuscan leather light. The leather's not quite as bold or as angry. It's more like the feeling of leather. Yeah, that's not. It's still not great. Like, it's not great. I can imagine that would give you a headache if you put too much on. You know, leather's a really difficult genre to make because there are so many and it's such a long-lived genre as well. It's a big perfume, that. It's a really big unit, that. Dear me. Anyhow, sweeter than I remember, creamier. The benzoine's much more apparent than I remember. Anyway, next up we have Santal Austral. So, sandalwood from Australia. Notes of iris, sandalwood, benzoin, and tonka bean. Let's see what this is like. It's very mid. It's not very remarkable. It smells pleasant. You know? I get the biggest thing I'm getting there again is the benzoin. The creamy aspect of the sandalwood, not the woody aspect. It's got an iris note as well, so it's definitely got that iris, slightly powdery, slightly clean, slightly makeup-y kind of thing going on. It's very creamy. It's It smells synthetic as all fuck. It really does. Like, and I don't doubt there's synthetics used in it. And I'm like, synthetics are a good thing, you know. Synthetics are good. But something smelling synthetic isn't good, you know. It's got a sugariness to it, like a richness, like a fudge, like a butter fudge, or a butter toffee. It's sickly. There was something a little bit sickly about the Falcon Leather as well. Huge perfumes. A little bit of the woodiness from the sandalwood's coming out there as well. But if the thing with sandalwood is it's so soft that you have to use these huge synthetic versions of it to push it, you know. So you can use a little bit of natural sandalwood, but then you've got to use like a lot of like synthetic sandalwood, like Jarvanol and stuff like that, to give it this kind of like push, you know, so that you can smell it. The benzoin again, I'm smelling the same sort of creaminess, whatever the benzoin ingredient is used. He's used it in both of these. It's softer than Falcon Leather. A little bit clean, a little bit fresh, creamy, slightly milky, soft. It's not dark at all, and it's not very complex either. There's not a lot. I don't think it's a very complex brand, to be honest. I don't think you're going to get a lot of like moving parts and intricacy from the perfumes, you know. The smells. There is like, it doesn't feel like there's a top, a middle, and a bottom. Soft, creamy, but still strong. It's not like a punch in the face, you know. But it smells like something trying to smell like something else. Okay. Next up, we will finish on Bois d'Ebene, and I fear this because this literally translates to black woods, and I'm fearing amber woods and giant synthetic molecules here, so I might only spray this once, and we will see. We will see. The top note is juniper berry. Then there's gaiac wood, cypriol oil or nagamotha, and patchouli. Again, that oud note's massive. Like, dry, ambery. harsh. Something, is it patchouli-ish? 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 There's something again a little bit like that creamy fudgy kind of thing going on, like a random sweetness. Powdery. I'm getting a very similar kind of, like it's drying the back of my throat out. It smells like an amalgamation of other fragrances in the niche realm. Again, there is something in this. There is something in each of these that binds them all together. Maybe you want to call that like a house DNA or something else. I don't know, but this is very something like buttery and sweet. You know, like a fudge when you've had too much fudge. It smells very modern. These do, they smell very contemporary. And if that's your thing, I mean, it's not my thing, but if that's your thing, you might enjoy these. That cypriol oil is just lurking. It could be that guy. It reminds me a little bit of Promise. But not as devastating. Promise is like a fucking chemical weapon's gone off. Or a nuclear weapon. You know? Just everything's just gone. This has got some sweetness underneath. Could be from the patchouli. A little bit earthy. Like you've spilled milk on the soil. Warm. For the younger crowd, I think. You know, so you could wear this in like the casino or something if you're young and you've been out on the town. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. That is it then. I will go back over the 3. There's only 6 in the sample set. I don't know if he's released any since this sample set was released. I'm not entirely aware. Let's have a look. Crystal Saffron isn't here. French Flower isn't here. Neroli Orangere isn't here. Parisian Musk isn't here. So there are a few that aren't here. All of them were released in 2019, apart from Crystal Saffron. No, Crystal Saffron and French Flower. But I don't know if the person who bought this, Dava, I don't know if he chose which ones he wanted in the sample set. I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if the sample set's bigger these days. So I'm not overly enthusiastic about the brand, to be honest. So we'll start with Falcon Leather, see how that has gone. Yeah, that's getting worse. That's starting to remind a bit of promise as well. It's got a generic oud. It's a bit like Carna Quiz, which I used to really like. And then you find out about like the oud notes and stuff. It's not oud, it's nowhere near oud. It's like a captive molecule that they've created in a lab which reproduces the effects of oud. Well, I mean, badly. It doesn't smell anything like natural oud, to be honest. That's bad. I think that's just a bad smell. Santal Austral, I don't think it. I mean, Falcon Leather, I don't rate that at all. Santal Austral is a feminine leaning, soft, powdery, slightly woody, buttery, creamy, ever so slightly sweet, kind of generic perfume. Again, excuse me whilst I hydrate. It is something you feel like you've smelled bits and bobs of from different other perfumes, you know? Like, I feel like I've smelled that before in other places, just not all at the same time. So, and it smells very synthetic. They all do. They all smell extremely harsh, chemically, synthetic. They smell a little bit rushed, if you want the truth. Bois d'Ebonais smells very nondescript. It just smells like a dark, soft, creamy, woody kind of thing. Again, you've smelled these chemicals before in designer fragrances at designer price points. You know? I feel like I'm being mean, but it's how I feel. I'm actually starting to get a fucking headache at the front of my head. Which I didn't want to happen, but here we are. But yes, that's it. The next three I have slightly higher hopes for, especially Encens Suave. Jura Rose is a fan of Encens Suave. Cologne Cedrat, I'm hoping that'll be nice. And I've smelled Radical Rose before and I didn't hate it as much as the other ones. So there is hope yet. Okay. This has been my first impressions-ish of Matiere Premiere. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this video and stay with me in the next couple of days. You will see the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.